Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Guest.
A featured guest.
A featured guest.
Yes.
Where I'm the only guy, only in the audience. I mean, in Shenzhen, I actually prefer this type of audience because the last time we did it in Shenzhen, there were almost 200 people, and I was too much because at the end I had to talk too much. So today, I'm quite happy because I'm going to be able to interact with everyone around.
Yeah, that's excellent. So, to start off, can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up and when you came to China? Because I know you were really young when you came.
Yeah. So I came to China when I was turning 19, and I grew up in West Africa, in Togo. I mean, most of people don't know that. It's next to Ghana, in case you're wondering. What?
Next to Benin.
Exactly. So it's just between the two of them. Whenever we launch in Guangzhou, you have 1,000 RMB on me. So yeah, I grew up there, and I went through different things, and I was developing a company. I had a web design graphic company back in the days before I came here, and I had an NGO on site. So I came to China because of technology, and where I'm from, we used to go to Cybernet and then download all the things that we needed, and then and go back home and study. So at one moment I realized that everything that I was using was coming from China. It's pretty much that way. Laptop, and I had a lot of Chinese interns. I was also a member of ISEC, so I opened my gates to a lot of countries. I've been to 15. I've lived in 15 countries, and I'm just.
Wait, so you've lived in 15 countries?
Yeah.
Not like visited, but actually lived in 15 countries.
Well, it depends on your. I didn't fly through.
Okay.
More or less, I worked there for 2-3 days. So
Okay.
When you've been to the bars, you've been to the restaurants, and you've met people. You've left. I don't usually live in hotels. Yeah. I think people in my office know my love for Airbnb and so on. I think you do know that. And so I love to meet locals, which will bring me later to what I'm about to say about why I founded this company in the first place.
So, can you just go back to when you're 19 years old,
Yeah.
coming from West Africa, you landed in Guangzhou,
Yeah.
or Shenzhen, Guangzhou, right?
Yeah, Guangzhou.
Like, what did it feel like? That must have been pretty intense.
Actually, I had this impression when I was coming that I was gonna drop in a city where it's all full of skyscrapers and technology. I'm gonna see robots on the street and all of that. and then I arrived at the airport. My friends fixed me up, and I only knew one sentence in Chinese, just in case my friend doesn't pick me up. I was going to be in Huabong for 1 month and then study Chinese, which actually I left after a while. But I knew how to say 湖南理工大学 and 去湖南. That was my entire Chinese. Most of people would know how to say 谢谢 or those things. I had to memorize 去湖南理工大学, and that was it. Just in case my friend doesn't pick me up. So I arrived, I got on the bus, and then she said, don't worry, we'll get to the city soon. Then we get to Huanan and then I look around, and I'm like, this is it? She said, yes. Wait a minute, this is it? Then I pick up my phone, and I'm like, look at these pictures. I mean, I Googled before I came here, I choose the city because they say it's the warmest one, and they had more foreigners than, any city in the south. So this is it. She said, yes. Oh man.
Not at Huangzhou Ligong Dashi.
No, it wasn't. But then 3 days later, I got the impression that I wanted. We went to Zhejiang, the Zhejiang Xincheng that was building at the time, and then we went by the Pearl River. We took a boat, and I saw all those things light up, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I saw on Google. So yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting at first, and I was sold a golden story, and then I had dust by the time I arrived. So something is wrong with me.
I think we can just project because both of us have good projected voices.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
I studied theater. So
yeah, just one single rule. If you cannot hear us at the back, just do this, okay? just use your arm and do this in case you cannot hear us at the back. Then we know we have, something like that.
Can you not hear? Can you not?
Can you hear us at the back?
Wait, so you can't hear?
Okay.
So what I want to do now is talk about, so full disclosure, Tav and I work together. I invested in his company. And so we've actually been in investor meetings together and things like that. And one of the investors asked him, he said, you know, you're a foreigner, so what if I invest in the company and tomorrow you leave? But I thought your answer to that was, like, it really struck me, because I've been here for like half my life at this point. You've been here for like almost half your life at this point. Tell us, you know, what the answer to that question is.
I learned Chinese with 1.5 million RMB. Okay, that's a nice way of putting that. So I was originally supposed to be here for 3 months, and at some point, it's a long story, so let me put it this way. A friend of mine told me about, you know, all the Alibaba things and whatever, and I decided to set up an e-commerce in Togo, right? And we were buying things, stocking them in office that no one bought for 4 years. I mean, it took us 4 years literally to get our first 10 customers, but that's not the point. So I decided to do something that I was very arrogant about, which is selling my previous company. There was a guy that was chasing me for 2 years, wanted to buy the company, and I didn't want to do it. Second, I just had a discussion with my dad when I decided to move to China, and he said, what if you lose everything there? It's like, I will rebuild. I was 19 and I was very arrogant. You know, my dad got me when I was 16. So that company was a way of showing him that I didn't need his money or anything and whatever. Then I sell the money, I take 10% of it, come to China, and for 3 months I'm traveling with the same guy. We're going every single where together. And he's paying flight tickets, he's buying food, hotel, and I'm like, I can trust this guy. Then we set up a company. I don't reach Chinese. My Chinese is not as good as it is now. You know, I wish it was back then. And then 3 days after I put the money in the bank account, I went to the office and there was nothing left. And then I realized that I was broke. Second, I'm gonna have to call my dad, which is never gonna happen. And so on. So it was a tough moment in my life. Like every step. So I went to the police station and wherever, they wouldn't help because I was just another black guy in China. And that was a changing moment in my mind. But again, this was 8 years ago, where, you know, between that and now, mindsets are open and things become very clear now. I've just lost my entire life work, and 3 days time, I was left with, so pretty much for 2-3 weeks, I was eating once every 2 days, right? I had 1 egg with some rice and things like that was going on. So it was that moment where you see your ego standing in front of you. Do I pick up my phone now and call my dad, or do I go on? Short story, I end up in Shenzhen with 100 RMB in my pocket instead of calling my dad. And second, I end up drinking 2 Corona out of that 100 RMB, which was 60 and having a chow mein fen. So I was left with 25 RMB for the next day. Pretty much, I went from 25 RMB to be where I am today, somehow, magically, maybe because of people and, you know, their love for me. I think that's it.
Their love for you. Wait, did you say you used to be arrogant, or is that? No,
I used to be.
That story resonates with me because I came to Guangzhou, and I had money in a bank account in the U.S., but I had maybe like 800 RMB in my bank account in China, and you know, you get a job, you find an apartment, and you start going.
Yeah.
And you don't stop, and then, you know, 15 years later, like, wow, what happened?
I couldn't have an apartment though, with 25
No, you could not. So tell us a little bit about, you know, the company Ahah. When did you start it, and why did you start it?
Unconsciously or consciously?
Consciously.
Okay, so so unconsciously it started in 2013. Consciously, I started in 2014, and a friend of mine came by my place. She was a Brazilian. I moved to Shenzhen. I just moved to a city because there was so much opportunities, and you know, actually before I get to that, I will tell you something. I went to Shenzhen for solar panels, and then I got on the metro, random metro, going back to Shenzhen North at the time. And then there's this kid that says hi to me, and then I turn up, and then there's a group of 5 kids from middle school, actually Bawan Middle School, because I knew that later because of their uniforms. And they just start interacting with me. And that's something that changed my mind. Because in Guangzhou, I can be in the metro for like 10 hours. No one is gonna just come up and say, hey, hi, and start a conversation with me. I was like, this city is more open. Then I move on there without money. People take me in their house. We don't know who I was, where I was coming from, and help me to be where I am. So 2013, I had a Brazilian friend of mine that I met along the way. We became roommates and things like that. And she was coming back to Shenzhen for a few weeks. And she's like, where should I go tonight? I said, try Shenzhen Party, because that's what we all use here. I come back a few hours later from job. I was doing marketing consulting for brands at the time. And she's like, I couldn't find what I wanted. I'm like, how you couldn't find what you wanted? We all use Shenzhen Party. She asked me, when was the last time you actually used this website? I said, well, I used it the first year I was here. And that was, you know, a year later. And unconsciously, I wanted to do something. So I emailed a friend of mine called Pascal, and I'm like, I have this idea, you know. I want to build a website where people can find data, because Shenzhen Party has everything, but it looks messy. He replied me, and then a year later, which is, we started April 2013, April 2014, I was like, hey man, this is really serious, let's do it. Then we called the company at the time, don't laugh, Shenzhen, okay? And the slogan was, because one is not enough. So you just hold an event, SantaCon, the one with the Christmas thing with Coca-Cola. And then after the event, people were asking, hey, how can we find, you know, more of this event? This was really nice, we enjoy it. Do you know how we can? I'm like, Shenzhen Party. I'm like, have you ever tried Shenzhen Party? Okay. So in my mind was just, you know, just another thing. And I ignored it. I was at the time running 2 soccer school with friends of mine, one in Guangzhou, one in Shenzhen at the time. January, a Chinese friend of mine calls me. He works at tourism, the National Office of Tourism. He said, have you seen the number of foreigners coming to China? You have to wake up and pick up on that idea. I'm like, I'm not interested. I hang up. A week before Chinese New Year, he comes back to Shenzhen. He says, let's have a dinner. I said, if you should talk about that stupid idea that you called me about 3 weeks ago, I'm not talking about it. And then he's like, no, you really seriously got to look at these numbers. So we go all the way there. I look at the numbers. It's growing 20% per year. Imagine 10 years from now, plus Shenzhen, most people say Shenzhen has no culture. I'm putting the capital in, I'm bringing the resources, and we make it happen.
So this was your first investor?
That was my first partner. No, actually my second one. And he put in 50K, and I joined with 150K. Mistake, we found another team again. That was not the right fit, right? We're just trying to build another website. So that's how it all started. He called me, and then we went on there. From there on, then Pascal sent me, that was April 2015, I emailed Pascal that we have 200K now in the bank account and everything, and he's like, oh, you know what? You need to go to Angel Hackathon. It's this weekend in Shenzhen. And then he put me in touch with the organizers, and then we end up at Angel Hackathon because we're looking for a way to validate the idea. Will people really love what we're building? Will people validate? Will people believe in it? We end up running up in that competition, and people were giving us offers where they wanted to invest in the idea. We had a prototype that we had just 28 hours, 3 of us were just hacking things, and we put it out. So it all started by the fact that someone came into my place and had no idea where to go, and I was not the best guy to ask either. So,
wow. So fast forward to today. Can you explain, you know, what Ahah does and what it's about?
Yeah. So today we focus on experiences. If you come here and you have a beer, you know, what kind of beer are you having? Are you gonna go and say this event was shit, or are you really gonna love it? The company was rebranded 3 times. Okay, we went from Shenzhen to chat neighbors to Ahah. When we got our seed investment, when you and Bill came in, it was all about connecting people through events. We were building something where I could find people that speak the same language as me around and help me through that. But then what we realized was that people don't just automatically connect with people online. I've got to meet you somewhere. It gives people 1 bottle of wine and they become best friends. Give them 2 bottles of beer, they become best friends. And this is how it works. So why don't we focus on what people love the most about us? Quality events. Let's curate events in Shenzhen. Let's tell people, 10 places to go per week, and let's see where that leads us, right? So today, we've gone beyond that. We left that goal up, okay? We've split it into several steps for 5 years. The first one was bringing excitement to people. Whenever he asks me, where do you want to go? I'm going to search and I'm going to share it to him, and if he agrees, oh man, I'm the king of the night because I just want to go, right? Something like that. So it was about the excitement. So we labeled our first mission, sharing the excitement, right? Then we went on from sharing the excitement into experience better. Because last year, it was about giving people more than just sharing to their friend. We wanted them to share things that they love. So we had to build things around content. What kind of things do you want to see when you go to a city where you know no one, right? Are you going to Startup Grind tonight? It means whenever you're in Shanghai, when you open your app, we want to bring you a tech event. It means you connect automatically with people that are in the tech world. Now, what makes an event successful? Is it the speaker? Is it the content? Is it the people that you meet there? Well, we realized that a small, tiny part that everyone ignores is things that they consume at the event, right? You are consuming whatever I'm saying, but I'm talking about this. People consume brands at the event. And we were a marketing agency long before we got to be Ahah. So most of people see the mobile app as our product, but it's not. It's the tip of the iceberg because events are part of the product that we sell. What you are buying is the experience. Am I satisfied with this event that I attend? So that's all Ahah is about today. When we wake up every day, we want to make sure that people love where they're going, what they're doing. People come to us 100 times a week and ask, like she's been facing that recently in the company, and she's our chief operations, so in case you have questions later for her. So people come to us and they ask, I want to host my birthday, I have 20 people, recommendations. And we realized that because people were going in on search engines, they were typing birthday, and there was no recommendation for that. So today is more about experiences than bringing you excitement and bringing you the app.
So that was a very good, long explanation.
Shortly.
Can you give us the elevator pitch?
Shortly, Ahah is about experiences. Whenever you want to go out, you want to hang out with friends, you want to find what to do in a city, that's the app.
So what is the short-term, long-term goal? What are you going for right now?
So short-term goal, we want to be in 5 cities in China, which start with Guangzhou, I think next April. This is where we're going to be. Then we have Shanghai, Beijing coming up, and our target city this year is Chengdu. I mean, that's our priority this year. That's the market where we want to be this year. That's the priority. And also in terms of usage of the app, we want to be more focused on people that use it, like the users, what they really want. It's all about, we will center our algorithm to bring people what they want before they know it, before they even open the app. That's all we're about. Now on the long term, our goal shifted a little bit from last year because since February we've been talking a lot, and like my partner in the other company, they always say, it takes every single of my company 4 years to actually start kicking in. And this year is very important for us, but we want to be around any major event, tech event, sport event, and we want to be able to serve Chinese customers outside of China. Most of people don't know it. We built the app originally to serve foreigners, but we have 6 Chinese for 1 foreigner at the moment, which give us an advantage over how Chinese see our product. So the long-term mission is to be able to serve Chinese customers outside of China. The short-term one will be bringing foreigners into places where they really want to be.
So, the company you talked about starting in 2014.
Yeah.
We're 4 years in now.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, maybe what is sort of, to share with this audience? Because I know you guys are here to learn from Tab and to learn from us and to learn from each other. And really, that's what Startup Grind is about. It's about connecting and educating and building a community for us to all lift each other up. Right? That's why we're here, is to help each other. And so, maybe can you share a little bit, and just pick one. What was the hardest lesson that you've had to learn over the last 4 years in Ahah?
Can I pick up two?
Okay.
Not hiring the right people
Okay.
and not having enough money.
No, see, so number two,
Yeah.
I think we can throw it out because that's everyone's problem. Like there's never enough money. But talk about not hiring the right people. What is that? How did you learn that lesson, and what did it mean to you?
Okay, so we received our first investment within, I think it was 5 days from the day I negotiated. So I met the guy, I met Bill at the time, and then we had lunch, then a coffee, and then after that was a deal done, and then 10 days later the money was in the bank account, which was really fast. Yeah, which was really, really fast because he just transferred it to my personal bank account, which was, again, surprising. I didn't know he read the story about me losing money in Guangzhou, which he showed me years later. And then I didn't have the right people surrounding me. I was in need of advisors. So there were 2 people that I could look up to. It was him. He came a few months later to join the round, and it was him at the time. And then I had few friends that never built any company. So I went up and I said, okay, now I want to hire these people, and then I'm going through all the CVs, and these and these and these are the right pick. Whenever you get investment, leave the money in the bank account, go on a holiday for 1 month, come back later and see, okay, now I have the money. That if I had, I will have done it.
Like, woo!
So what we
Everyone
did
comes
is, yeah, actually. What we did is between the day we received the money, which was 10th of September, and 25th of September, we hired 12 people.
Wow.
Yeah, including a CTO, which hired his entire team. Well, literally at that time, the board was me, my co-founder, and then him. So they all passed the motion of hiring, him and then bringing him as a partner and everything else. And looking back, I wish I had people around me that told me, number one, get an HR. Get an HR, pay her 3 times what you pay yourself in the company.
Is that your recommendation now?
That's my recommendation. Because I realized that this year our HR working, she looked at the people that are working, and then she's laughing, she looked at the people, and I wouldn't have let go of 1 or 2 guys. But she looked at it and she said, this is not gonna work. Then she does a review and asks the guy, do you feel satisfied of the work that you've done through the entire year? I said, no. And then I realized that I was doing things the wrong way all along. I'm more than 40,000 downloads in a year, and there were 5 people using the app, including me and 4 people at the office. So there was something wrong with it. I took the entire time, and I realized there were bugs that was coming over again and again. Second, we didn't have an onboarding, right? He wanted to be in charge of the product and everything else, and I let him be. Then I realized I had to step in and become the product manager myself. I had to design everything because the US designers were not doing any research. They were not bringing something that people really wanted to use. And at the time, to be complete with the story, Ahah was a Tinder thing. I mean, we copied Tinder. My CTO came in and said, I know what we're gonna do that's gonna attract a lot of people. Let's go with Tinder because now it's really hot, and we can do the Tinder thing where people swipe. When we did the test as demo version that we sent to 15 people, they loved the idea because they only had 10 events to swipe, right? Now, when it went live and we put in the first 100 cards, people were doing that. And there was no reward. Literally, there was no reward. It's not like Tinder where you go with girls and you're like, by the end of the night, I'm gonna get something out of this. It's the same.
Your experience and my experience with Tinder are very different.
Just saying. So yeah, if I had to do one thing really right, I would go to HR because it saves you a lot of time. Don't get someone that call themselves HR, and don't hire HR until you have like 3 or 4 coffee with that person. Okay. Our HR is the best hire that we have in the company, and she was hired accidentally. Seriously, she was hired accidentally.
So you mentioned, figuring out that the CTO maybe wasn't doing things in a way that works for the company. And then so you had to take over and do the UX design and the product management yourself. I mean, how does that work with building a company that scales? Because in a company, as you're building a business, you need to hire people who can do the work, and if you're doing all the work, then you don't have a company, it's still just you.
Yeah.
So how did you solve that conundrum, that problem?
Truthful answer or answer?
Can you tell the truth or what? What do you guys want?
So I ended up sleeping in the office. I'm gonna get to the point, but to be clear, every year I have different goals for myself, right? Like you say, it doesn't scale when you are in charge of everything. Luckily, I had Leon, which is sitting at the back of the room, being my partner in between, and I didn't have to worry about coding or anything else. I just had to get the product right and everything else. But then I was difficult in the first year. We ran out of funds. No one was willing to put more fund in a company that was probably gonna sink, right? The boat is going down. And I was not willing to shut it down. I'm a stubborn person. I believe in something, and when I believe in that, I'm gonna make it happen. Doesn't matter if I lose all my fingers the wrong way, but when I believe in something, I'm gonna bet my 10 figures and say, take them one by one. I believe that's the right thing to do. So I started giving myself goals. If I'm gonna replace the CTO, one, I had no idea what was there, what was built. Second, I'm gonna have to do user research. It's gonna take me 3 months. We already had contract with brands, we had contract with venues, we had customers that were waiting in line. We already solved something that was not built, right? Because we had a timeline, we knew that, tech team was gonna deliver and we we're gonna need 1 or 2 months extra. We told the board and everything. So we had an entire timeline set up there. Now when it went wrong, everyone just pointed at me. So literally what I could do was check everything that was going. Then I had a conversation with you, you might not remember it, and you say, you know what, get 1,000 people that love your product. Right, that's what you told me back in your office. I think that was 2016. It was May or June. Get 1,000 people that really love your product. And to give you an idea of how we went from being not market fit in 2015 to be market fit in 2017, I'm gonna give you the guy Michael, right? So Michael is around 60 something. Michael has been in Shenzhen for 9 years, and I was chasing him to test our product because he understands things much better in the city than me. He has 5 more years than me. He downloaded the app, and whenever I walk from wherever he is till my desk, he will delete the app. That was it, for 2 years. Then one morning I was in the office, he came by, and he's like, is this your app? Because it's called Ahah, and people say you're the phone. I say yes. Oh, you rebranded from ChatGPT? I'm like, yes. I love it. Been using it for a week now, and he's not the only one. And really, I was hoping you could sell some more product on it there because it's all about events and this, but I want some tech business event and whatever. And then it all got back to when I set my goal first year, I'm gonna sleep in the office, I'm gonna do 2 hours, and I'm gonna take maybe a break in a while where you are giving. He gives me a call and texts me all the time and says sleep. Believe it or not, I have proof that he texts me all the time and says sleep, and I was there. Then second year, my goal was to sleep 5 hours a day. Not 5 years, 5 hours a day. I was not scaling. I wanted to get the basic of the business right, and you can't scale in that kind of moment. I had to build things right. Now last year we tried to scale and we failed. Again, because I was there in the office controlling everything. Like everything that had to go out, I had to check. I had to control, I had to see if also, I'm such a perfectionist that the content on our platform, you can't send a content that goes over 150 characters. So there was a lot of things that we did to build standard. I didn't know that word until, January. Then last year we failed because I was still in the office. I was not trusting people. I was so scared that 2015 was gonna happen all over again. And then I realized one thing. It happened when I was reading a book from Coca-Cola called Design, Scale and Design or whatever, Design to Scale. And I realized that all I had to do is to write down things the way I think about it. Or to take two people and communicate the way I will run the company to them and make them understand why I built this company. If you ask her right now, she will say, I come to the office sometimes, I spend like 30 minutes and I say, do you guys need me? No, okay, see you tomorrow. And then I go and I'm going to my next meeting outside. The first step was really putting my heart into the business. It was not about the money. If I had a choice between raising money and not raising it back in the days, I would choose not to raise money because last year I learned a tough lesson. Sleeping in the office was not enough. I had to put my mind down in a paper and give it to people. I have to care more now about the culture of the company than the actual business. Because I could hire 100 sales and say, go and do this, I will pay you this much. It was not gonna happen. Because if we have to launch Guangzhou, it means that I have to transfer my knowledge, I have to transfer me to the next people. We had a joke back then where you said, it was 2016, you asked me to hire Usain Bolt to be my twin in the office. It's all back to that. So we were not scaling in the first 2 years. I was not even trying to. I was trying to get 1,000 people to really love what we do. Then my next goal was now, not being in the office, because if I'm in the office, I'm gonna have to check what everyone is doing. Or the other way around, they're gonna have to ask me a lot of questions. So now we spend January, I started January this year till tomorrow. Tomorrow I think is the last sharing in the team. And then I tried my best to transfer my knowledge in terms of how operations will work, what is the core of the business, and what is the DNA of the company. Yeah.
So if I am listening and hearing correctly, it really sounds like there was this transition between, doing things by hand and really learning what the business should look like.
Yeah.
And then there's this transition period of the business should operate this way, but I can't do it all myself.
Yeah.
So I need to build a team that can do it.
Yeah.
How's that going?
How's that going? so actually, that's how we work now. It's going quite well. I would say it's actually going more than expected because I don't have to talk to the people that we hire on a daily basis to tell them what to do. I come by and they're like, oh yeah, we got this done, oh this deal is ongoing, but we need your approval on this, or we need you to design this or have a look on this. It's very, very different from 2 years ago where I had to have a look at everything, every proposal, every contract. It's on a different way. It's a different scale where it's not my decision anymore. I give the direction, I gave the directive,
So you're okay with that? You're okay to just say...
It's good, it feels good. Because if it goes wrong, well, I'm gonna walk in a board meeting, you guys are gonna blame me, but they've got my back. That's how it feels like.
That sounds awesome, yeah. So, since we have such a small group here, what I'd really like to do is open it up for more time for audience questions, and we can just talk in a group. I mean, there's enough people here. But first of all, I want to just everyone. I think we should give Tav a round of applause. And I told you when you came, I was like, I'm going to push you to like, give up the goods. I think he has. I think you've shared some really interesting techniques and sort of your journey. So yeah, what I'd like to do now is open it up to the audience. If you guys have any questions or comments, or I mean, if we can just talk to you, like, are you struggling building your business? Are you having trouble finding product market fit? Let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do.
You said that when you got the investment, you hired directly like 10 or 12 people, all of them being friends.
Yeah.
And then you got an HR, and she said that, or like she found out that some of them didn't fit.
Yeah.
Then how did you cope with the situation? It's so hard to talk to friends and say it doesn't fit well, or like, what do you do?
Sorry, I'd like to know your name.
Nicholas.
Nicholas, okay. So actually, I hired HR accidentally last year in December. Okay, she came to our company as a sales manager, and then she ended up being my HR. It wasn't something that I oversee, and for the last 2 years, I've been doing the same thing. So the first group of people that came in, we've been letting them go.
And plus one.
Because the contract is not written, it's not well written. So that employee, which she has to let go of, asked for 2 months more salary because she break our labor law. And what's more interesting is he asked for a commission, which is mentioned in the contract but never actually happened because he never bring in any projects. So his salary is kind of like 10K per month, but he left. He asked for 30K or so, and she got it, and he got it. Because for employee, they can just simply go to our labor bureau and then.
Actually, that clause was set, and he got less than he was expecting.
Oh yeah.
He got half because of.
He even asked for a T-shirt that mentioned in the email that we were supposed to give him, and he thought it's more than $100 US.
Yeah, okay, that's also one thing that
people like that in all over the world.
It says in the email, I get a T-shirt. Where's my T-shirt?
Yeah.
So he's written in that paper and asked for that. So our HR is actually work for Hilton, such kind of big company, and she has really good experience in terms of HR. She can just talk with person and then smile and then tell, I have to let him go. So it's something for both me and Tav. It's hard for us to do this. So she's good at it. So it's really important to find what Tav says. Let's say part-time or full-time is fine. That can help you to write the right contract and help you to hire the right people. Let's say we've been hiring people for a month now.
Company secret.
No, I'm just saying that.
Company secret.
Okay.
Company secret.
Yeah, that's it. It's really important for the right person.
Yeah?
Something more on the positive side, John. I'd like to ask, what sort of team building exercises do you guys do for the team or the HR?
Team building exercise?
Yeah.
Okay, so last year we did something that was really interesting. Take everyone to the gym. The first one that gives up, buy a week of food for everyone in the office. You see, we've tried everything. The first year we had cash in the bank, so going to the beach was not a problem. Taking people out to have food and all of that, it's not a problem. But we realized that we are building a company that opens doors to other people to experience places, right? So why wouldn't we try our own experiences? Yeah. Take the team, go to the gym, take the team, go to some art craft things. So it's all about, it depends on what you're building as business. But one thing that is sure, if you're having developers, and I'm pretty sure Leon will agree on that, they don't like team buildings.
No.
Developers don't like team buildings. Designers at the extent, yes. But operation and business, take them out, let people join in. If your team building exercise is to push people to become culturally close, then you don't have the right people in the company. Again, that's why you have the HR, because the HR is going to understand how you will think like, what you feel like. Now I actually, how can I say, duplicate something that Leon does in the office here, which is every Friday have sharing from people, right? It comes in weekly, and the only difference is that every week, every month, once in a month, we will invite someone from a different office to come in and share their struggles, right? It gives an open mind to everyone. Also, we do Whiskey Wednesdays and Wine Fridays, right? So yeah, so
Whiskey Wednesday
and Wine Fridays, yeah. So on Wednesday, people just get together. It's the middle of the week. You know, they've been stressing on Monday and Tuesday, and they just chit chat, have whiskey. And on Friday, you know, if you are not in a hurry to go home, it means you've got more work to do at the office. You can grab wine with some people and pizza. Yeah. So it's not a very specific moment where we say every 3 months. We do it every week because we are a very small company, and if we have to scale, we need to make sure that everyone can transmit the DNA. You know, it needs to be all along.
Anyone else have a question or something they want to bring up or think about? Topic of discussion? I mean, we're actually pretty much at the end of this portion of the evening, but we still have beer left. I think there's still some sandwiches left, maybe?
Yes.
So we have the room until 9:30, 10?
Yeah, 9:30.
I have one more thing. I have one more thing that I actually would love to talk about. It's don't be naive when you start business, you know. I've had my plan drawn out for years before I met investors. That's the hardest lesson. That's why I say not having enough money was because I was not experienced with raising money. We didn't raise enough. And if you are planning on raising capital, you should ask 10 times what you need.
10 times?
For real.
That sounds difficult.
I don't think
5
so.
times?
Well, actually,
2 times, please?
10 times. Well, for you, I'll go 2
I'm the investor in this situation, so like, I'm like,
I'll go 2 times. And also, you have to search the background of everyone that you go in business with. So for the past weeks, any investor that comes in and say, hey, I want a BP from you, I tell him I have no BP, but if you want to invest in me, I need to know these 5 things. Okay? Now I'm turning that into a form that they actually need to fill, because if you really want to invest in me, don't waste my time, you know. I prefer to spend my time running after my clients that's going to give me $500,000 next week than running after an investor that's going to ask me for projection for the next 10 years. We are in China. You can barely make a plan for 6 months. Right? Things change really, really fast here. So, number 1, get an HR. Number 2, ask 10 times what you need. And number 3, learn Chinese maybe?
最好就是可以借数用中文，对。
Actually, that's the most important.
You
don't speak Chinese.
You're done.
It's so difficult.
Yeah,
to learn.
you're done.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, I call people and then I point out the office and like I get some deals not because I'm the best person that could execute that, but because I speak Chinese very fluently, so fluently that they cannot believe that I call on the phone and they couldn't detect I was a foreigner. And 100 times a day, I get to explain why, you know, I speak Chinese that way. So,
因为你是深圳人，
对啊，我是
你是
本地人。
深圳本地人，对，
对
真的。
Because you know, one of the worst mistakes I did when I was in China, when it comes to doing any business, it was actually because of a language barrier, to be honest. Especially if you are dealing with Chinese customers. When we are dealing with the foreigners, mostly it's easy. But if you try to concentrate on the local market, your Chinese should be good. Otherwise, you will end up.
And if anyone want to get on the guest list for April 7, find me. We're launching Guangzhou on April 7, I believe. I mean, I'm not sure.
All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Actually, just
I
just like, my name is Tandy, by the way.
I'd
like to talk a bit about the product because this is the first time I heard this product. Do you have any competitors like here?
No, go on.
Local competitors, for example, and how are you going to overcome?
Local competitors depend on which product you specific target on the app. You know, because people think of the app as a product. But if you say one-on-one competitor, regardless of limits, I will say Airbnb, actually local also. Why? Because they were focusing on homes. okay? And we were doing experiences.
Right.
And then one morning he messaged me, he said, have you looked at Airbnb this morning? I said, no. I opened it, experiences, jeez,
Yeah.
right? Then they tried to, you know, negotiate acquisition and whatever they call it. Didn't work out with us. And then next thing we see, restaurants. Jeez. Then now, I think at the 10-year anniversary, they might, you know, it's never your idea, but we were doing distribution, brand distribution through, that's actually the down of the iceberg that you don't see. We work with a lot of brands to create experiences. They start doing product distribution also. So one-on-one competition, yes, we are. But one thing that they don't understand is how the Chinese market works. And that's it.
Yeah, because Airbnb not doing so well in China.
Yes, yeah. It's a very different market. Like we, you know, when you build a product,
Right.
no one wants to use it, right? You have like 10 friends, you send them a link, they download that, and then, you know, they want to, you know, make you feel nice, smile about it, so they use it once or twice in a while, and that's it. But for Ahah, I had to break that. So for the first 300 venues, there's actually a lot of stories. For the first 300 venues, I had to go to every venue one by one. I was doing 5 venues a night. I'll come out, I'll order a drink, I'll sit, I'll observe how people, you know, serve other people, the atmosphere, the music, lighting and everything. And then at the end, I was like, hey, why are you not on this app? You know, why are you not here? This is my friend's app, I can recommend you. I think you guys should be there because they have a lot of people using it. Because no brands or no venues or no party organizer wanted to be on an app that didn't have users. So I was going there and then I will do that and I'll be, oh, okay.
Not wearing that shirt.
No, I wasn't wearing this. But now everyone knows. Now everyone very much in Shenzhen knows that I'm the founder, and some of the people laugh about it now. They're like, you really did that when you were the founder.
By the way, he only has 5 shirts exactly like this in his,
Not 15 now.
Oh, 15 in his
Yeah.
wardrobe and wears them every day.
I have pink and orange now, so 5. But the thing is that we went from that onto, and also no users wanted to go to the platform, so I will give not free ticket, like half price or something. And then when people buy that, because I'm not connected directly to the seller or to the event organizer, I will buy one myself, I'll point at the door and I'll say, hey, here's your Ahah agent, this is your ticket, thank you very much for your faith in us. And I was doing that with pretty much the first 100 customers. So that, people don't see it, you know. It's, yeah, that's the part, that's the DNA that we have. I had to go to every single spot and, you know, I value things that every customer will value, it's simple.
But when you were transitioning from
Yeah.
concentrating on the foreign customers, transitioning to the Chinese local customers, how did you do that?
I'll be honest.
Didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything. It happened accidentally, and I didn't understood that until people in Shanghai saw our ad. Chinese want to go where foreigners are. Okay, if this was a bigger audience, Startup Grind accidentally fall there, and it was also about the branding, because if you see a Chinese brand compared to ours, you go and they pull up their banner and then they have app, download this, meet these people. When we pull it up, when you see it, all you see is the A here, right? Now we don't even have the logo on the banner. So I realized that when people come to a conference or somewhere in a bar, when they see our logo the first time, they don't really realize who we are. Second, they don't. A third time, they will ask the question, what exactly is this logo? I've seen it already several times somewhere. So that's why I stopped wearing this t-shirt when I want to have a private life outside. Like people will, I know that company. It's a tourism website or app because my friend, and I'm like, okay, I'm done for the night. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
At the beginning, how did you make people know your brand or your apps? And now, how do you make people know?
Okay, so I have a natural talent for taking people to parties.
It's called using your strengths.
So I focused on my strength. Okay, my strength was not marketing my product because I had no users and I had no content. So I would put in 10 places, 10 events, and then I would create a group and I say, guys, let's go here this weekend. They have half price ticket. People didn't know until a year and a half in that I was the founder of the company. Right. So I will do the same thing with the user, the same I'm doing with the. I'll say, hey, let's go here. You know, it's very nice, and then let's have drink. Once we did that, then I didn't want to spend my own money doing that anymore because we ran out of investment, and then I had to find someone to pay for the bill. Then I found Drinks Grind. They always want to give their drinks, but they won't give you cash. So we were like, okay, give us drink for free. And our partner was San Miguel. So San Miguel at the same moment wanted to get in the Shenzhen market. They wanted 20 venues. I could do that within a minute. And they wanted parties. Oh, nice. Free beer. Okay. So you want a free beer, download the app. It's a very tiny app, like 10 megabytes or 9 megabytes, so you could download it on a 4G anytime. So that was it. It was just the queuing, it's the party. So a lot of people know us as the party app. Some people know us as the wine app because they met us inside of Grind for Wine. Some people know us as fitness app because we've organized a campaign with Sexy Salad last year where you can go to 21 locations. 8 locations, 8 gyms. Because the gym don't have anyone inside, Sexy Salad wanted to work with them, but they were not getting on the same page. So we brought the campaign, and people for 21 days could go to 8 gyms, get free training in any class that you wanted for 165. No one could do that for you. So that's how we brand that. Now we are going to take that on a larger scale by launching Guangzhou on April 7th. It's in Party Pier. We are having, I think, it's a week or a day. I don't know. It's a week fashion show or something like that.
It's a week.
Yeah, it's a week fashion show. We're teaming up with Party Pier, the founders. We're doing it, and beyond that, now we're going to the Canton Fair, which is a target for every merchant in town. That's how we promote it. We don't. If I have to spend a million RMB on buying ads anywhere else, I will give it in actual physical product to people. Say, use my app, get this for free. Yeah. There was another question that was, yeah.
I would like to know your journey from 25 RMB till now.
That might take a little bit longer than we have time for. No, yeah, you guys, so, I mean, we're not gonna everyone doesn't have to go. Like the whole point of Startup Grind, right, is to bring you guys together, right? He's not the star of the show, I'm not the star of the show, you guys are the star of the show. Right, so what I want to do now is transition to that phase.
Yeah, so wherever.
Tab will be here, but more importantly, you guys will still be here.
Right.
And so the most important thing that you can do tonight is make a friend, find somebody that you can work with in the future, find somebody who can help you build your company, find somebody who can invest in you, find somebody who can teach you Chinese, find your HR manager.
Invest in you. Invest in you.
We still have beer. There's a little bit of water left, hopefully.
Just before you dismiss everyone, I just have one question.
I'm not dismissing anyone.
Yeah, but I just have one question for you, okay? The time we met, it was really a sinking boat. Why did you invest in? Now I want to know. I want people to know. Yeah, I want people to know.
The tables have been turned. Oh. No, I think that's a really, really easy answer.
Okay.
And I mean, and I really hope that people here would see the same thing that I see, which is when I first met you, I actually had no desire to invest at all. Like the first time we met, I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea, whatever. But as we talked and we kept talking, I realized that you were going to do this no matter what.
Actually, yes, absolutely.
And like it's been super clear to me over the last 3 years that you will make this happen no matter what.
Yeah.
And so, do I want to get on that train or do I want to just let it go? And I was like, I want to get on that train. Unfortunately, I am the poorest investor you've met. But we tried, and we're still going. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful to call you my friend, and thank you for coming to visit us.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Actually, I have a question that relates to what you just asked and
Yeah.
what you just said.
Yeah.
The 25 to today. Is there any secret recipe can you share with us to convince an investor to invest in you?
I think
Out of your natural.
we have a collab where we were riding for 4 days in his office, and at one moment in the afternoon I felt pissed I was like, what's the point of asking me the same, I just stopped right now, I'm like, what's the point of asking me the same question when I keep giving you the same answer? You know, you have to be sure about what you want to build. It's never about the idea. You know, I see investors coming in and on, and I can tell within 10 minutes if I'm going to work with that guy or not. And it's about you. It's all about you. The earliest investor to put the money in you, the bet on you. It's not about the product because, you know, we pivot all the time. It goes like that. It's never about that. It's about you. When you get to round A, B, C, or whatever, it's more about numbers. But before that, it's all about you. What exactly are you willing to do to make this happen? And for me, believe it or not, if I have to be, actually I did it last year, where I choose to put my entire money in the company to pay people, and I was hungry for 3 weeks. I was going to the office in the morning, and then it's the time we came back from Hong Kong, and I was still in the office working. That day we had the discussion. For 3 weeks, I had no money. I had 10 RMB, and I was saving it for bus. And I had water at home, plus some milk. So I would go home, I would drink morning and night, and then I would be in the office. So one day, one of our friends discovered that. She's like, how can you come actually to, Todia, the photographer that works with us also, he was like, how can you come in the office every day? You seem perfectly fine, everyone is eating around you, you do your work as you can, and as you do every day, and then you go back home, and you ask for help. I'm like, bro,